What's up, everybody? We are just about to go into the Axe House here in Keene. They were a sponsor for Marshall Summit. It's a great facility. Now, even if you're not local to Keene, you probably have some manner of axe throwing spot near you. They've been popping up all over the place. And so we're going to go in, we're going to throw some stuff, we're going to talk to the owner, we're going to give you our thoughts on throwing things and how it relates to martial arts.
Yeah, for sure. There's a lot of synergy, that's a good word, synergy between what we're about to do and what we do in our normal day-to-day class. So
some of us have things that are thrown as part of our martial arts weapons curriculum, but most of us do not. So, should be fun.
Yeah. Hey, let's go inside and check it out.
All right. So here we are. We are at the
Axe House.
Axe House in Keene, which for those of you who have been around, if you came to Marshall Summit, you know they were one of the sponsors. And it's fun, actually, in one of the lanes there's a Bees Tees banner, another one of the sponsors for Marshall Summit. But we're here and we're throwing things. And I don't know exactly what the footage is going to look like. I don't know how
we're going to splice it together.
We'll figure it out together, but kind of fun. You can hear a dog in the background. This place is chaos in the best possible way. But for those of you out there who have considered thrown weapons as part of your potential martial arts journey, this is something like this. And these places are popping up all over the place.
Yeah, absolutely.
I would encourage you to go and check it out and see how the fundamentals of martial arts really do apply to everything that we're doing with our bodies.
Yeah. I mean, we did an episode a bit ago about martial arts as a science experiment, right?
Yeah.
Sparring is science.
Sure.
There's a lot of that going on here. It's a lot of experimentation and figuring out how the distance,
close, too far, take a step.
How hard am I throwing? Oh, it wasn't quite right. I got to throw a little bit harder this time, or no,
right.
Let me take a little bit less.
Yep.
So there's a lot of thought process in what we're doing here, throwing things like you would during martial arts.
Right, and just like, if you think about the different ways you can use a hand or a foot, they apply in certain situations. I can kind of see that thrown weapons would apply in certain situations, certain distances, right? Like maybe if somebody's farther away, I might throw a thing, but as they get closer, I might throw a different thing.
Yeah, yep.
And it completely makes sense why you're not necessarily going to have just one thing. You're not going to have just one punch, one kick. You need some variety depending on the circumstance.
On the circumstance, yeah, absolutely. And there's a lot of stuff here to throw, so we're getting to experiment with a lot of fun stuff.
Yeah, we'll probably talk to you more. All right, so we've had a great time here at the Axe House. Andrew's going to be editing the footage, so I have no idea what you've seen already, but we've got the owner, Jamie, right here. Thank you for supporting us. Jamie, and wanted to ask you, do you see a difference? Bad question. What do you see as the difference between people who come in and they have maybe an easier time and those who have a more difficult time throwing stuff?
The stubborn people struggle because they don't want to listen.
Yep.
The people who will take advice, for example, the three nice people right down there, all they could say is you're a great teacher, and it works very well when we listen to you. Yeah, people that take advice, it works almost immediately. The stubborn people that come in here that just have it set in their ways and they say, I am not listening to you, they struggle. And they'll go 40 minutes before they stick a single axe. And then just one tweak, I give one suggestion when they finally listen to me, they just start nailing them back to back. So if you're open to constructive criticism, you're open to learning, you'll do awesome. But if you're not, you're going to do terrible.
Sounds like martial arts.
Yeah, come in with an open mind.
Yep.
Awesome. Thank you.
So you're welcome. Yeah, absolutely. Awesome. Thanks for coming in.
Hey, Jeremy, how's it going?
Good, Andrew. If people are listening to this part versus watching, they might not realize that we're recording this at a completely different time.
Yeah. We did the Axe House. We went. We threw all kinds of fun stuff.
It was a lot of different things.
Yeah. And I came home and started putting the episode together with video clips and everything, and I realized you, the person perhaps listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or
most of our audience still listens versus watches. And just as an aside, folks, we put the video version, it's on YouTube, and then we embed that's in the page in the show notes at whistlekickmartialartsradio.com. So if you go over there, Again, that's why I keep saying go to whistlekickmartialartsradio.com. But anyway, Andrew, back to you.
So we, putting it all together, and I'm like, the people listening to this episode and not watching are, if I put it together the way I had envisioned initially, they're going to hear what they've already heard. The intro, we interviewed Jamie, which was great. He was so great and just so supportive, and it was awesome to have him there. And then they're going to hear us throwing axes at a wall, and that's going to be really boring.
Yeah. Thunk.
Thunk.
What just happened?
Thunk. Thunk. So my thought was, to make this episode a little longer and to give a little more feedback now that we've had a week to think about and what we did, I thought, let's get together again, record just a little short thing like we're doing right now. And for those watching the episode, you will see that at this point, I'm going to put in, there might be some video footage of stuff hitting the wall, but you're listening. If you're only listening, you won't see that. And that's okay.
Right. So where do we want to start? What should we talk about first? I know you had a number of things that you wanted to cover. For the benefit of the audience.
Yeah, I mean, not things that I had to get out, but one of the things that I found interesting was the different items that we threw were all unique, and some of them were similar, but they reacted in different ways depending on how you threw them.
Yeah. I had on that same vein, one of the things I found really fascinating was you had to be at a slightly different distance for everything that was thrown.
Mm-hmm.
For the most part, you could not stand in the same place and throw different things and expect a good result.
Yeah.
And that made me, because I'm always thinking, how does this apply, right? We did this fun thing. It was cool. How does it apply to martial arts? How does it apply to training? And while thrown weapons are not part of most people's curriculum, probably because in the modern era, one, firearms have made that less practical, so we don't see it as valuable. But two, it's difficult to practice throwing things. If you don't have something like the Axe House nearby, how are you going to practice that? Mm-hmm. Right. But it suggested to me that if I was in an era pre-firearms, I might have some different knives and some different pointy things that I might be throwing because, you're 20 feet away versus 30 feet away versus 40 feet away. I'm throwing a different thing.
Yeah. So as an example, if we were throwing the shovel or what we all affectionately called the zombie apocalypse tool, people watching, I'm going to insert right now a clip of us throwing those things. You will have had
the zombie apocalypse tool was a small baseball bat with a saw blade cut into it.
Yeah, a circular saw blade.
If you imagined a zombie apocalypse tool, it probably was that.
So when we threw those, they were weighted very differently. So we had to stand a little closer to get the rotation correct. But when we threw the little itty bitty hatchets, you stood a little further back because they would get more rotation.
Yeah, and understanding how that weapon's going to throw was the difficult part, right? Being able to go, okay, that didn't work here, but it works here. Mm-hmm. And it sounds like, okay, Jeremy, Andrew, why is this martial arts related? Even if I go with you on the ride where, I can imagine throwing a sharpened shovel could be martial arts adjacent. Well, is that not what happens with everybody who learns how to kick?
Mm-hmm.
Right? They kick and they try to kick when they're too close, or they try to kick when they're too far, and they have to identify, okay, this kick works at this distance. This kick works at this distance. If I take a small step forward and spin, the kick changes the distance, right? And that's something that I think for a lot of us becomes very natural to see through repetition. And I could imagine the same thing happening. In fact, I don't know that we have footage of Jamie throwing things, but as the owner, he spends a lot of time throwing things and teaching people how to throw things. And he just knows instinctively, if I'm throwing this, I've got to be this far away.
Yeah. And even throwing the same thing in a different way. We experimented, that's one of the things that you do when you're there. You're trying to throw things, what's working, what's not working. And we would take weapons and throw them. We did some where we threw them underhanded. and that changed the direction. And
everything a
Jamie
lot.
even came over and gave a little, okay, if you're going to throw it this way, make sure you do your arm here. And I'm probably inserting a clip of him doing that right now.
Hold it like almost like you're shipped in the car, but yeah.
Just like that.
Just like that?
Just like that. Just what it is lock everything. Don't bend your elbow. Don't bend your wrist. So what happens if you do one of these, it's going to spin too much. Lock everything and just let it go.
Got it. All right.
That's a big part of it too.
Just like that, Jeremy.
So now watch. Now do it again. Take one step back.
Okay. Thanks for the support, Mark. You're welcome.
Yeah, do it right from there.
Make sure you don't go here, because if you twist the wrist, it'll spin too much, or you're going to throw it behind you, like as you're walking away from the target. You have to change how you're handling the actual weapon in order to get
even those little axes. If you threw it with initially the blade facing out versus kind of the back point, if you think of like the claw of a hammer, there were axes that were shaped sort of like that. That completely changed the way it threw because the balance was different. So the rotations are different.
Yep. And I think the only thing that we threw that you could throw at any distance were the cards.
Yep. Because they were sharp on all four sides.
Exactly. So it really didn't matter a whole lot. And they were really fun because they were really fast. And you could just fling them. You could huck them, as I would say. Just
chuck it.
Yeah. And we had some fun with that. We had some I think I said, we're not doing anything dangerous over here. See, with these, I want to be like, do a roll and then right into.
Do it.
So do a roll.
Do a roll, please. You can do it.
All right, here we go.
Oh.
What do you win? $1 million?
Not yet.
We
Fair and
weren't
fortunate.
doing dangerous stuff.
No.
No, not at all.
I think we've got footage of us throwing, multiple things at the same time and really getting kind of creative with it. I don't know if we captured that, but
We did. Yeah.
This is the one. You can feel it.
cards at once.
All 4 cards at once.
Yay!
Whoa!
Jerry, you did all 3. I did all 4 cards.
Nice.
it lends itself to thinking about techniques and ranges. And I think even if the idea of throwing things doesn't fit within your definition of what your martial arts training is and what you're interested in, going outside, just picking up a few things and throwing them against something else, a tree or, a big rock or whatever, obviously be safe, disclaimer here. But it makes me think differently about how I use my arms and legs. What technique do I have that works the best at all distances? Well, it's probably a punch, or maybe it's a side kick.
Yeah.
Or what do I have that has the best likelihood of doing some damage at slightly longer ranges? Well, it's probably my roundhouse kick, because if I connect with the top of the foot or the ball of the foot or the shin, right? Those are all great surfaces. So I just think it's fascinating the doors that doing this opened in my brain for my hand-to-hand stuff.
Yeah, and there are ways that you can bring this into your own school and your own training. Jeremy, we actually know someone who has a section of their school for throwing weapons.
Yeah,
and it's kind of sectioned off. It's kind of a lane, I'm sure it's not every single class, but the class we happened to see, they took the last 5 minutes of class and he had some really cheesy, throwing stars, and the kids were loving it. It was so much fun.
Yeah.
I don't know that he has zombie apocalypse tools there to throw, but the concept is there in terms of working out your distance and how to do things.
And let's take a small aside here, because I think one of the things that people inherently like about anything like this, thrown objects, firearms, whatever, there's an element of objectivity there that exists that we don't have very often in our martial arts training. For me to be able to throw a thing see, I got this far from where I was trying to go, and to practice over and over and see it get objectively better is something that I think resonates for a lot of us. So having some objective or even pseudo-objective metrics in your students' training, in your own training, I think has a lot of value. So just be aware of that.
Yeah,
If you
and
find
and
those exist.
if you as a group or individual go and do this at some, whether maybe you come and visit Keene and visit the Keene Axe House, if you're local, or you have one in your
Or you're
town,
coming to Marshall Summit.
or you're coming to Marshall Summit, right? Be prepared to have fun.
Yeah, and please, and post the videos and tag us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because we want to see. Yeah, I know these things are popping up all over the place. There's one not far from me here, and I just haven't been, and I want to go. It's a great, fun night out, and I've talked often on this show about the social structure within our training. Once you punch and get punched in the face by some people that you train with a few times, you become friends. You kind of have to, because otherwise it doesn't go well. Going out to do something like this, having a drink, a lot of these places, which I find fascinating, serve alcohol.
Mm-hmm. This one, the one we went to, does not.
But you can bring it.
Can
He
you?
said you could bring outside. I'm pretty sure he said that.
I don't. I don't know.
Maybe I'm wrong. A lot of them do, and just the idea that you would do these things with alcohol, I think, is funny. But go do it. Have a beer. Throw some stars. Throw some axes. Have a good time. Recognize that while your own unarmed training does help you understand your body and allow you to iterate, make progress fairly quickly, you're probably not going to be perfect at it when you start. Just because you train to be a ninja 3 times a week in your own mind, at least if you're 9, right? That's what you're doing. Throwing stars and knives is probably not second nature yet.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
a great opportunity to get better at something.
Cool. I think that's all I had. I think I would encourage you, if you only listened to this episode, go watch us have fun.
There's some really fun stuff in there.
Yeah.
Stuff that, there's some close calls with the cameras.
Yep.
Did you see those?
Oh,
There,
absolutely.
There were a couple times I was watching things bounce and go, camera.
In fact,
Cameras are okay.
I'll insert it right now if you're watching. But this right now that you're seeing is Jeremy had just set up the GoPro in the corner of the lane, and Jamie had said, "Oh, you better be careful, something will hit it." And you're like, no problem. And the very first thing thrown was a sigh that didn't stick in and almost hit the GoPro.
Okay.
So it was fun.
Some
It
good
was
times.
a lot of fun.
I'm glad we were able to do this episode and bring the audience something different. And once again, show that martial arts is in everything that we do. It is related to everything we do. Everything we do can be brought back to martial arts. And further, maybe even more importantly, because you hit this point and I just want to underscore it, it's okay to have fun. It's okay to have fun with your training. And I just hope people take this suggestion and go throw some things at some things.
Yep. And the last teaser that I'll give to try and get people to go watch this episode, I'm going to put something fun at the end of the video. And you're not going to get it on the audio. So you're only going to get it if you go to YouTube. So you got to go to YouTube and watch this funny thing that happens. I'll put it at the end of the episode.
Sweet.
That's it.
I put my words down. I'm like, it was pretty funny. Very. It was.
That would be great. We'll see you. Yes.
Say, Tosh, you want me to throw it there?
She could probably aim it.
In the vicinity of.
You're trying to do it
And you'll probably have to put your foot on the mat. Most people do.
on.
Yeah, most people.
And that'll happen.
No, you're fine. So now come off the mat. I probably just lied to you. Yeah, do it right from there.
Nice. So the distance makes a difference.
Oh, yes.
Nice.
So see where you're holding it like that? Remember, same thing as the hatchet. Hold it as high as you can. Wait. So see, don't move yet. Don't move. So you're kind of flicking it at the very end.
Okay.
So hang on. So put your toe right here, and now do it again. Same exact motion.
There you go.
You're welcome. Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Do it again.
Whatever you just did.
Yes.
Now in between.
In between.
Yeah, in between.
Alright.
Go.
Split them up.
Oh, they rolled at an angle. That's awesome.
Oh,
Nice.
look at that. Grouping. First one, bullseye. So, what happens? You'll get plenty more to take pictures of.
That's pretty good grouping.
Nice.
Yeah, so you throw it 3 times, and then also.
Nice, Mark.
And then whenever you guys
It just, it did a thing. It slide whistled.
Did you just underhand that one? Oh.
I don't think that's all that effective. Nice.
I don't know if I can get one in there. Yeah, try. She can. Yes.
Sweet.
There we go. I know how to throw it now.
You do have to be really close.
Yep.
Double tap, double tap.
Hey, see if we got my initial on the handle. This one is fun. I'm gonna do one more.
So just hold it right here. Don't do the wind up thing. Or just hold it right here. Go from the side. That's why as soon as your elbow goes out the side, you usually doesn't work. So how you kept your elbow going right to target, you're golden. That's okay. I forget mine sometimes too. That's okay. So I'm assuming all three cases belong to right? Still with I do it again, I get on the mat. I forgot you were making a kick too much, so you were on the mat.
There we go. Hey, that was recorded. Sweet.
Andrew's gonna crop out all the stuff.
Yep,
we
that
don't
I
look
can't
awesome.
do.
And it's just gonna make us look
It's
amazing.
just gonna be me the whole time.
Try the knife.
All right.
All right, Andrew's throwing 2.
Oh, nice.
Oh my goodness. Trying to get one of the blue ones.
Okay.
I've had more than one person come in here and hand it off. Dude, have at it.
Time. Volume 2. Zombie annihilation. They probably have an archery range, but we would have to build a backstop so that we wouldn't constantly lose stuff.
Right. Oh, don't think. Just
I'm wondering if there's a way to do.
maybe a tar.
Look at this guy.
Nice.
She ain't gonna break the nose again, is she?
I haven't done the cleaver.
I bet that cat's gonna come right through here.
No.
On purpose or by accident?
We'll
Yes.
never know. We'll never know.
Yes. Say just yes.
Accidentally on purpose.
Yeah. It's not gonna bounce because it's gonna stick in.
Just bounce back.
There you go.
Where do you go? Enough about respect, ladies.
All right. Well, let's close it out. Thank you, everyone. Thanks for watching or listening. Thank you for your continued support. Remember, if you want to support us as an individual, join the Patreon. It starts at $2 a month. We tell you what's going on behind the scenes, and we give you so much more in the upper tiers. if you are a martial arts school owner and you have not looked at what we were doing with Whistlekick Alliance, it is overwhelmingly awesome. The response has been tremendous. I am so proud of that offering. Check out both, starting at whistlekick.com, as well as all the other things that we offer. If you want to reach us, Andrew at whistlekick.com, Jeremy at whistlekick.com. Our social media is, as you might imagine, at Whistlekick. Let's wrap it up here. Until next time,
Train hard, smile,
smile,
and have a great day.
Great day.